What's good with y'all, man? It's your boy Will, back with another video, and today we're gonna be getting into another interesting video topic. Now, today I wanted to bring up another video that I feel like is kind of an obvious answer to it, but we got a lot of people that dislike Andrew Berry for whatever reason. I'm not one of those guys. I'm on that short list of people that think Andrew Berry is gonna get a statue in Cleveland one day. So I could be a little bit biased on this topic. I like to be real with y'all and let y'all know how I feel about each player before we even get into the video and the breakdown. But I simply just want to go over and talk about Andrew Berry. And do you guys think Mr. Andrew Berry deserves a contract extension? I played the wheels. How did I just do that? But anyways, do we think Andrew Berry deserves a contract extension? Let's talk about it. All right. Andrew Berry. Let's go through his big swings and misses. Jedrick Wills, he drafted him. That was his highest pick I think he's drafted in his tenure with the Cleveland Browns. It was Jedrick Wills. Unless I'm mistaken. No, because it was Jed, Newsome, and we got also Delpit. We also got JOK. So yeah, Jed being his highest picked player, Jed kind of flopped. He's an average tackle. You would have wished you got a little bit better value than that. Essentially, you drafted Jed 10, and he essentially is playing like a second round tackle almost. So not to here nor there. Definitely not a positive, but definitely not something you could, hang on by the cross for. Now, let's get into the other guys. JOK, Pro Bowler. Grant Delpit, pretty sure Grant was a Pro Bowler. He also got Martin Emerson, that's a future Pro Bowler. Denzel, he ain't trash. Denzel Ward. I'm giving him credit for stuff he ain't do. Those three guys that is Pro Bowlers. I'm gonna say DeJuan Jones have definitely Pro Bowl potential. Kel Mitchell definitely has Pro Bowl potential. Based off their rookie years, they were really good at their position, especially based off their PFF grade. And you also want to look at, outside of his draft, look at his trades he's made. He's made a big trade for Deshaun Watson. It's still, on the limbo if that trade was a good trade or not. He made a big trade with the Cowboys to get Amari Cooper for a 5th-round pick. Home run trade. Completely finessed him. He traded up and got JOK. Great trade. He did give up a second. I think it was a pick swap technically, but he did give up a second for Elijah Cooper. Not Elijah Cooper, bro. I'm way out of sorts, bro. He gave up a first. Y'all just watched me have a whole mental breakdown in the span of like 10 seconds. My goodness. He gave up a second, and I think it was a pick swap for Elijah Moore. That wasn't a good trade. He drafted Anthony Schwartz over Amon-Ra St. Brown. That's not a good look, That's not a good look at all. We know who Anthony Schwartz is, and we damn sure know who Amon-Ra St. Brown is. So, drafted Cedric Tillman. That's still in limbo. Drafted David Bell. Still don't know about David Bell. So, we shall see as far as a lot of his picks, as far as on the Deshaun Watson trade. Now, the Deshaun Watson trade, regardless if Deshaun is terrible next year, I don't think that's going to necessarily make Andrew Berry out to be a bad GM. You also got to look at all the adversity that, he has been through with the whole Baker situation, the Deshaun situation, the Odell situation, the Jarvis situation. He's got this organization cleanly through those up and downs with that roller coaster rides of having those type of players on the team. So that also is going to go in a good category for Andrew Berry, of course. And then also, not to mention, hiring and firing guys. Firing a guy like, I forgot the trash-ass special team coach we had, Mike Prefer, getting him up out of town. Getting Joe Woods up out of town. A-plus moves. Replacing them with the assistant coach of the year. Hiring a 2-time coach of the year, Kevin Stefanski. Andrew Berry. He's a great GM. I think it's obvious that he's a great GM. I think the really argument you can make to firing Andrew Berry after, these results that we have gotten since he's been here, the only argument you could make is necessarily this Deshaun Watson trade. Now, like I'm getting back to that, in a hypothetical scenario, how bad was the Deshaun Watson trade? I got some people that's watching this that's going to tell me that trade was the worst trade in NFL history. Cap. I got some people that's watching this that say the Browns won that trade. Also cap. The truth lies somewhere in between the middle, but also closer to the second, rather than it being the worst trade of all time. Let's talk about it. The Texans got 3 first-round picks. One of those picks was for John Minchie. He's yet to show up due to health reasons, of course. I'm not saying that in the football aspect at all. They had, I can't even think of bro name. They drafted a tackle though, offensive tackle. With our pick, I think it was the 13th pick in that draft. He's been garbage. Now they did get Tank Dell out of it, A+ pick, and we would have needed a Tank Dell right now. And they did get a pick swap and made a trade with our pick to get CJ Stroud. Very good for the Texans. Very good for the Texans. The Texans are in a very good, if not great, place after losing a quarterback like that. Losing a quarterback like Deshaun Watson and who Deshaun Watson was to them, putting all the Cleveland shit aside. Awesome trade for the Texans. You look at it from the Browns standpoint, the Browns took a risk that those picks wasn't going to be that good, and they were kind of right. I think this year, we're like the 22nd or 23rd pick in the draft. That's our pick. I remember that we were like the 16th pick, 13th. They haven't got a top 10 pick out of that Deshaun Watson trade at all. They really just got a lot of good complimentary picks. So I don't think that necessary. We gave up 3 firsts for this guy. I don't think that's kind of a valid point to go about it. Yes, on paper it looks crazy, but when you actually look into what the Texans did with those picks, and also let's talk about who was available at those picks. Who are you getting in a Sauce Gardner, Garrett Wilson draft? We wanted Garrett Wilson. We wanted, who else was the other guy? Drake London. We wanted Jameson Williamson. And it was one more other receiver that I'm forgetting about. Was it Jordan Addison? No, that was last year's draft. It was this one more other guy that I can't think of for whatever reason that was there. All of those guys that we needed a wide receiver that year after trading for Baker away and having Deshaun. We needed a receiver. Of course, we didn't know Amari Cooper was there, but we needed a receiver. All of the receivers we needed was gone. So who are we going to pick with that pick? That was the highest pick they got out of us. And then you move on, the pick they got last year. Of course, that's the pick they flipped. A+ to them that they flipped it, but it's no telling what player would have been there at the 13th or the 14th pick in the draft that would have helped the Cleveland Browns win football games this year. That would have helped and made more of a difference than Deshaun Watson did this year. I don't think you drafting a player at 14 or 15 that's going to make a difference enough to beat Baltimore. You're not. So, how much are we going to really value those assets in that scenario? Now, on the Cleveland Browns side of it, what have the Browns done with that trade? Since the Deshaun Watson trade, they went 7-10 the first year, 10 and we went 11-6 last year, 11-6 last year. So they almost damn near broke even as far as record-wise, but they did make the playoffs. They missed the playoffs the year he was suspended as they expected. If you take away all of the noise and all of the BS associated with the Deshaun Watson trade, and you actually sit back and look at it, it's a lot still left to be desired as far as who won that deal. The Browns went 11-6 and lost the playoff game. If Deshaun Watson was here this entire time, and I told you guys at the moment that the trade was made that the Browns will go 7-10. Deshaun Watson will be suspended for majority of that year. They'll go 7-10. The next year they'll come back and they'll go 11-5. They'll go 11-6, and then you'll be going on to 2024. If I asked you, hey, How do you feel about that as a Cleveland Browns fans? From just a resort, take all the bull out of it. From a resort-based standpoint, because that's what we're grading. It's not like we're grading Deshaun Watson. That's what we're grading Andrew Berry on, results. From a resort standpoint, that's exactly where we should be at. 11-6. Of course, you don't want to lose in the first round. That's the only thing could really knock. But the first time going, they lost the first round playoff game. Yeah, it sucks, but hey, we need to get back out there. Period, point blank. So I think Andrew Berry's more than deserving of a contract. I think he's more than deserving of an extension. I hope we keep Andrew Berry here for the rest of my life, up until he starts messing up and doing stuff he doesn't like. None of his big weaknesses is that he was terrible at drafting defensive tackle and wide receivers. He needs to improve that shit. We got terrible wide receiver play. Out of all our draft picks, we've not hit a home run yet on wide receiver, but we're hitting home run on corner. We're hitting home run on offensive line, and we got to get that. We got to get some better wide receiver and some better defensive tackle prospect, scouters, whatever needs to change. That's getting us in these bad picks for those certain positions. We got to adjust and fix that, of course. But outside of that, as far as the way he runs the organization, his trades are an A+. As far as value-wise, he got a guy like Donovan Peoples-Jones in the 6th round. Got a 5th for Amari Cooper. I could go on and on about, he got JOK in the 2nd. JOK in the 2nd. JOK is a generational talent. Grant Delpit in the 2nd. Generational talent. Martin Emerson in the 3rd. DeJuan Jones in the 4th. Generational talent. So, he's definitely got some stuff to work on, though. But looking at it from what he's done, I'm going to ask the same question I asked on the Kevin Stefanski video. You put him from his results based on any other franchise, any other team, and his contract was coming up, I think he's going to get deserving of an extension. He's well respected around the league, and that's what we wanted as Browns. We didn't want to be a laughingstock. We don't want to, we wanted to get away from that. Andrew Berry and everybody he's brought in, Deshaun Watson, Kevin Stefanski, and everybody else around him has went out their way to show that this Cleveland Browns is a stable franchise. So I'm going to give Andrew Berry a contract extension to 2029, 2028. I think that's what it should be. You guys let me know how y'all feel about it. Make sure y'all hit that like and subscribe button, man. And a link in the comment section down below. I reply to all comments. Also in my link, you could get access to my clothing line, my socials, my Instagram, Twitter, X, whatever you call it, however you want to pronounce it. And then you also get, my business pages and everywhere you can find me at. Feel free to always DM me. I also do have a main page where I talk about life, and I'm kind of like a life guide for a lot of men that, got problems or whatever issues you're going through a hard breakup, going through, trying to get motivated back with your life. We also do a little bit of life coaching here on there as well. So your boy Will, I'm out. I appreciate you guys. Y'all have a blessed one. Peace.